First of all, you don't know me.
We're all about that high school drama girl, all about them high school queens. We'll take you for a ride in our comic girl, cheering for the right team. Drama queens, smart girl, rough girl, fashion but you're tough girl. You could sit with us, girl. Drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens.
Hey, happy birthday, Brookie! Happy birthday, Brookie!
It's Brooke Davis's birthday!
Yay!
So cutie.
Yeah.
Guys, season 4, episode 2, things I forgot at birth. Oof. Why is everybody a stalker? That's just what I want to know.
Because we're teenagers. That's what you do.
That was my takeaway. Oh, man. It's a sloppy one. Brooke's birthday. I forgot.
Wait, I thought you had a summer birthday. I didn't realize that Brooke was an October birthday.
Well, it isn't. Brooke's birthday is March 4th.
What?
Yeah. So, but I don't know why this aired on October 4th. But remember, every season of our show was a semester
I mean, I guess.
in high school. So, like,
Fine.
we were doing annual years, but the show was only doing 6-month periods. So it made everything a little sticky in that, like, second semester every year.
I
It was
see
the
what you're
wrong
saying.
time.
Listen, hey, I got to give it to the
You
fans then for like keeping track of that. Like,
Yeah,
good
they
on you
get it.
guys.
And yeah, because you know what it is? It's about to be playoffs, and March Madness is
Oh,
obviously in March.
girl, you read those
Sports.
signs. Sports. Yeah. I'm just like, wait a second. It's October 4th.
What is this?
What's going on? Yeah, this aired October 4th, 2006. Oh God!
Do you wanna
here's
read the
Joy.
synopsis?
You guys, Joy's here. She's here. You got here just in time
She
for the
made
synopsis. Tell them about your traffic fiasco.
No, I was just on my way back from a writing session, working on some music, and on my way back, I'm just getting to know the highways here, so I missed my exit. You know, of course, like the one time I'm really in a rush.
Girl,
Anyway, I'm here. Hi.
we got you. We're just reading the synopsis. You watched the episode earlier. Cooper's life remains his life remains precarious. I
He's
mean,
hanging precariously in the balance.
That feels like a weird sentence.
that's a weird thing to say. Anyway, Nathan's still struggling with what happened in that river. Brooke celebrates her big 18th birthday, but finds it diminished by her struggles with Peyton. Lucas and Karen come to terms with her pregnancy while also trying to figure out whose pregnancy test they found in the purse. And Deb's past addictions intersect with Haley in an explosive manner. Good God.
That was
scary.
It was a wild episode.
Like, that was upsetting.
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't like it. I will say what I like so much in this episode is the misdirect with Brooke and Haley about who's pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that
Because
was fun.
it's one of the better things that they've done in terms of the fact that you just really don't know what's going on.
No.
And I watched it. Like, it's like when you've seen The Sixth Sense and you know the ending, and then you go back to watch the movie to figure out if they were telling you about the ending the whole time, and you realize that they were. Like, I watched that scene of us in the back of Karen's cafe like a hawk, just being like, who says exactly what, and how did we do this? And God, it was good. It was really,
I know, when
really
you
well
saying
done.
it's going to be okay, right? And I remember because I was like, well, why is she asking me if it's okay? I'm the one who's freaking out. But then that's the misdirect. The audience doesn't know.
Yeah, everyone
It was fun.
really thinks it's Brooke. And with Rachel catching her and the perfume, you know, that Lucas talks about before, the pregnancy test was in a purse with your perfume in it. You know, like, it really, the writers did a good job of really making you lean to think that that's what it was. Even with Haley saying, did you guys ever talk about it? And then Brooke asking the question, and these girls talking about their experiences, you know, in their young, intimate relationships.
When Haley goes to Karen and she's like, boy, well, that must have been really hard for you at 17. And, you know, she's wishing, but
But they also remind the audience when you're like, hey, have you ever dealt with this? And you're like, yeah, last year when I had the scare, which means like, yeah, I'm sexually active. Yeah, I've had scares in the past. And Haley's like, well, we got in a fight about birth control, which makes you think like, oh, well, Haley's on birth control. It couldn't possibly be her. They've already had this fight. Dun, dun, dun. Little bit of
So
exposition.
fun.
Yeah, it was really well done.
This was This was a big episode. This was like packed full. There were so many things I loved. I loved seeing the river court, even just so much skills, so many like moments with skills finally coming back, and those shots when Barry and Chad were in the car, and you could see not just the river court, but then past it onto Front Street or Water Street across the river. I miss seeing those.
Yeah, and because we did all that lighting, like we lit downtown.
Yeah.
And then the lights stayed up and it became this really iconic vista. I just about fell out of my chair when Hilarie rolls up in the comment and Skills goes, "Hey, homewrecker."
Hey, homewrecker is how I want all of you to say hello to me from now on.
Hilarie. Do you remember, I'm turning so red, that made me laugh so hard. Was that in the script, or did Antoine just yell that at you?
Man. Listen, that was the best part about working with Antoine, is that his lines were funnier than the lines that were on paper. And they would try all the time to try to match his cadence and his rhythm and just like the way that he talks. And it was always just like white people writing for a black man. And it sounded so forced and dumb. And so Antoine very well could have written that or come up with it on the spot. But what I like about him is that he commits to the material. And when we're in Peyton's room and he's like asking about records and he's teasing her about like, this sounds like a lot of white girl drama, and he's just leaning into it, he can just take a scene that could be like awkward and clunky and make it funny. It is a skill set I don't have. And so I'm
He's
envious
got that
of
like
it.
Vince Vaughn thing. It's like, you know how Vince Vaughn can you just drop him in a room and he'll just go until something happens.
Yeah.
I think Antoine's the same way. I love watching
he's
him.
so good.
Yeah, we were lucky. We're seeing more and more and more of him. They've put him in the new opening credits, which is great. And our show needed that. Our diversity problem is
major.
Huge. So yeah, I like that Skills is going to be on the team. I think it was cool to watch before we even came back to it at the end of the episode, watching that first scene where Luke takes Barry to the river court and does the same exact thing that Keith did in the pilot. Is great.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that, Hill.
Yeah. I mean, you've got Nathan telling the whole story of like, Keith was with me in the car, and you've got Luke emulating Keith's behavior. You know, those are the ripple effects. Yeah, exactly. Those are the ripple effects.
Like Lucas drives Keith's car now, and you see his influence everywhere. And it's really cool to see his positive influence on the boys, while the absence of him is making Dan Scott crazy.
Oof.
Like Dan is losing his mind. He's hallucinating. He's mishearing things. The UPS guy comes in and he says, "Sign here, Mr. Mayor," but he hears Mr. Murderer.
Mr. Murderer.
You know,
He's like paranoid.
Mr.
Also,
Murderer.
the way Paul looks at the way Paul looks at the UPS guy.
Did you make a note about that? Because I did.
I did. I totally did. Can you imagine if there was someone in political office that you go, like, you're just there to drop off a package and they stare at you and glare at you and they're like, "From now on, just leave the package at the front door." I'd be so I'd be like, "Oh my God, I do not want this person in charge in any way, shape, or form." He's so paranoid right now.
I'd be like, "Are you okay?" No one in the Scott family is okay. Dan's losing his shit and Deb's like nearly causing a shooting.
Yeah. And then
It's messy.
Nathan's having these crazy visions and fears.
For the 12th episode in a row.
I know.
Yeah.
Listen, they worked that water tank and they were like, "We're going to fit this water work that's very expensive into no less than 6 episodes. We are making this work."
We got to invest.
Yeah. Barbara's great. I love watching her work. I love the things that she creates. I loved the scene with Moira. I don't know if you've ever talked with someone who is high in a really troubling way. It was so realistic because her total lack of concern and she was laughing at her. Like, "You are so uptight. This is ridiculous." And seeing Moira really drop into this fear. And like, "You're not going to threaten 17 years of my business just because you're stressed out and, your life is falling apart." It was realistic and troubling, as you said, Sophia. It was really, it really bothered me.
Well,
it was like light and funny, like, oh, haha, a gun went off in the cafe. Oops.
Ugh.
No.
Can you imagine that airing today?
Terrifying. Oh,
we both screamed. Like when
Yeah.
the scene happened, Hilarie and I both shouted. We were so startled, and it's terrifying. And you're right. It is really interesting to see somebody, yes, who's struggling. But like, look, Deb's acting out. She's afraid, so she's masking, and she's acting out. She's saying, I want to feel better. I want to feel good. I don't care what it does to anybody around me. And Karen comes in with such vulnerability and says, you will not do this. You need help. What you're doing is hurting you. It's hurting me. And it's hurting this business. And I got to set up a boundary. And Deb's just not ready to hear it. You know, it's like that thing that they say. And we talked about this a little bit last week, right? Like, you have to be willing to look in and excavate. And when you have to layer the things people need to heal from with addiction and where that can send people, you know, it's why they say, like, nobody gets sober until they're ready. Sometimes you have to send people to rehab 3 times. Sometimes there have to be multiple interventions with family. And those people who lead those interventions always say, you have to set up a boundary. You cannot be an enabler. And it's wild in this adult female friendship to watch Karen trying to set up a boundary and Deb trying to hold on to her dignity, and the last pill is an Altoid. Oh God.
Okay, so here's what I loved about that moment, because I had a couple of these moments with our writer where something would be scripted to be really, really bitchy. And instead, like, we would choose to play it really vulnerable or really earnest, and it would bug them. And the last 2 lines of the scene are, it's an Altoid. And Deb, like, plops it in her purse anyway. And I know exactly how it was supposed to be scripted. It was supposed to be like a bitchy, judgy line from Karen.
Yep. Like, haha, little button on the scene. It's cute.
And instead, she played it like it was breaking her heart to say it. And so when Deb popped it in her purse anyway, it hurt so bad. Instead of being a bitchy moment between women who are shrews, you know?
Yeah.
And I
love that you caught that.
I was so happy Moira made that choice, because it's not what was on the paper at all.
No.
That was something that we had to do a lot on this show when we would have, because we had so many guest directors come in, and most of the time I think they just wanted to stick with what was on the page. Nobody wanted to make waves. There were a lot of people coming in who were newbie directors and wanted to not rock the boat. They just want to maintain a good standing in their reputation. And so whatever the producers were telling them, this is how the line should be read, is how they were instructed to instruct us. And, you know, we were getting to a point now where 4 years in, this show was ours now. We knew these characters. We knew what we were doing. And I encountered this struggle a lot. I think you guys did too, where the directors would tell us, okay, all right, great. We have it. Basically, we have it your way. All right, we got that. That's great. So we just give me one, just do one the way it's scripted on the page, you know, just one. And we would accommodate often until we figured out, oh, wait, that ends up always being the only take they use. They always inevitably use the take that wasn't really true to our character. And so we would have to wrestle a lot with some of these directors and be like, look, I'm sorry. I realize this might reflect on you and you might get in trouble for not being able to force me to do it your way.
Actress.
But yeah, just blame me. I'm telling you, I know the best way for this thing to go down. I don't know. Did you guys experience that?
Oh my God, all the time.
Me?
Yeah. And look, I think what's kind of tough about knowing what to do in those situations is, yes, sometimes we do know the right thing for our characters. And directors are responsible for building the roller coaster. So they know, like, what track from scene 8 is needed in scene 9 to connect it to scene 10. Like, they have to build that track to be able to carry the car.
Yeah, it's not that they were always wrong. It's just,
well, yeah, but it's like, having been in the director's chair, I've also experienced when somebody just cannot get out of their own way to help, like, build the scene.
Yeah.
And what I think becomes the really tricky kind of high wire act is figuring out how to really be your character's best champion and be a really good team player.
Yeah.
And what
Think
I thought,
in context.
yeah, and what I thought was always important for us was knowing. The way I felt like I began to know the difference was being able to see what directors had done their homework and knew the shape of the roller coaster versus the ones who were parroting something that I knew they didn't believe in, but they'd been told.
Oh yeah, that there, and you can tell. You can really start to tell after you do this long enough.
Yeah, and that then has become a really interesting thing for me, you know, post our show, like on other jobs, being able to make sure as a producer, as a co-star, that I know why we're advocating for the things we are. And if somebody can punch holes in it, it means our argument sucks and we need a better one. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
And it's so refreshing, I think, to be at a place in our careers where we work with people who actually talk to us about what's going on. Instead of
what's
saying,
that?
yeah, well, I really just believe in this for your character. It's like, do you just need it for the shot? Because if you do, just tell me that.
Do you need her just to stand on the bridge?
Oh yeah. There were some directors who'd come in, and I've seen this on other jobs too, where they're like, listen, I realize it makes no sense for you to say the line this way or to walk across the room after you say this line or whatever.
Yeah.
Can we we have to find a way to make this work, and here's why. And then it's either the hours of the day that we're in, or, you know, I have to get you over there because they're dying for this transition shot and there's too many people. You know,
I need the door.
I need the door. I need,
just tell
whatever.
me you need the door.
Yeah. It's like, okay, great. I'm totally happy to help with you.
Yeah, it is really interesting. So it's cool when you see, I guess that's what it is, right? It's like seeing these women.
You just want to be trusted with it.
Well, yeah, but this scene I think we love because we're seeing these women who were the seasoned professionals that we are now, who said, oh, we're going to do something so much more real with this dumb thing that some guy wrote.
The Altoid.
You know, and they made it heartbreaking. And you saw how sad it made Moira to say it. And you saw it hit Barbara, but her pride wouldn't let Karen see it. And so she made this flourish gesture with her hand that was very like, well, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
And all of it was actually pain. And oh, it's delicious. Like that's a delicious scene to watch.
That was really good. Also, Barbara had to commit to some heinous shit in this episode. I mean, let's just address it. There's the scene where Deb has a customer come up and complain, and she attacks the way this woman's body looks. And
awful.
I don't know how we cast.
I always wrestle with this.
How do we cast for that? Like, I just, it's awful. As Sophia said while we watched, she's like, it's literally the only dig that our writer knew how to make against women.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm going to attack your weight. Because in the same episode, Lucas is talking about Peyton's chickeny legs. You know, it's just like the female body shape was the target.
Nailed it.
And it's gross and it's cheap. It's so cheap.
Oh, it's such low-hanging fruit for sure.
But Barbara had to do it because the whole point was that Deb's behavior was like disgusting.
So out of character. Yeah.
But
like, can you imagine getting that script?
No. And that's hard too.
Yeah. How do we cast for that? How do you get that call as an actor? You're sitting at home and your agent calls and says, here's the sides. But, you know, like as an agent, how do you send that to I'd really like to know how they pull that off.
No, it's all just bad.
Well, hopefully it's like not a problem anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe we get to a place where it's like those jokes aren't the jokes we tell because they're not funny.
Well, they're not funny and they're incredibly lazy. You know, there was a big debate years ago with a bunch of male comics about how maybe they should stop making jokes about sexual assault. Like just stop. It's not funny. And, you know, all these guys said, well, we have a right to joke about whatever we want. And it's like, well, maybe be funnier then. Maybe be better writers. Maybe observe something in society that has anything to do with you not being a total asshole. And that's the way I feel about like men who do this stuff. Yeah. I'm like, so what you're really doing is telling me you're lazy and that you don't want to work harder to be better at the thing that you claim as your chosen career path. Okay.
Good to know.
I see you.
Because Deb could have made fun of anything. Like, this could have been a woman with like a horrendous beehive hairdo, you know? Or like, who could have been wearing something like very provocative, like wearing like Junior's clothing, but she's really like, 55 years old. It could have been a moment for Deb to still be offensive and still be shocking, but not, as to your point, like lazy. Ew.
Yeah. I mean, she could have been holding a baby and she could have like made a joke about the baby or something. Like a person who's not going to know what's happening in the script. You know what I mean? Like if she's got to say
for
something
the baby.
Horrible.
That's Joy's. Listen, Joy's going to go through all the scripts. Listen, if we could just like make fun of the baby, that'd be so fun.
Make fun of the baby. They'll never know.
The actor will never
you
know.
Have a baby
Then we don't hurt
bar.
Then we don't hurt anybody's
We didn't want
feelings
that baby.
that way.
Yeah.
No, you're right, Hilarie. It definitely could have been something just as offensive about a choice that somebody made rather than
exactly a choice instead of like their hereditary shape
existence.
Or,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
man.
just weird, and you see it in those moments that feel kind of cheap, and then you also see it again. Like, God, there's so much good stuff in the last episode and this episode. The blossoming truth and sort of hard-won friendship between Brooke and Rachel makes me so happy.
Yeah.
I love it.
And then it makes me just want to like punch a wall. That on the flip side, the guys say, how do we get what we wish we were getting from these young women? Let's make Rachel go and do, by the way, it's like a line they've given to Brooke. Take 2 and call me in the morning about boys. Like they say, Rachel's like, well, pick one and they'll make you feel better. And Brooke now is the one saying, listen, it's not gonna, it's just gonna make me feel worse. It'll make you feel worse. And Rachel's like, I don't care. So they've got her going off to hook up with some guy and then like being super stalkery and creepy with Nathan and saying you have Cooper's eyes.
All of a sudden, like she literally learned nothing.
The whole thing, it's just not real. It's like, it's creepy, porny fantasy.
I was annoyed that they made
stuff.
her stay in her bra when she walked out of that bedroom.
Joy,
into
you didn't see
whatever
her
the hallway
face
was.
for the first 10 seconds. It follows her on her tits through the room
Oh my
instead
God.
of on her face.
I missed that. I must have been looking at something because I looked up and I was like, why is she still in her bra?
It starts on the back of her bra with her clasping it. She turns around into camera, but only the bra.
They don't ever
and then
show her
starts
face.
collecting her clothes, and then it's not till she's leaving the room that you see her face, and it's like,
It's so stupid that she would be leaving the room without her shirt. Like, this is the first thing you do is get dressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like the guy's waking up. She had another 4 seconds to put her shirt on.
Yeah. Also, it's not like it's a house she knows or like, what is she going into an apartment hallway or if it's a house? Is there? I was like, what is this?
They wouldn't have done that to the three of us because we were established at that point. But for Danielle, who's guest starring, who's not in a position to be like, why wouldn't I just put my shirt on? You see that trickle down of like, oh, well, these girls won't do this now, so we'll hire someone who will.
Classic power dynamic.
what's also really important for listeners to know is when you're on camera, you don't see what the frame is.
Oh, we had no playback back then.
So, no,
That's
we had
right.
no playback. So it's not like Danielle knew that they were zoomed in on her chest. She thought she was getting up out of bed and the camera was tracking her out of the room. And I just do have to say, like, on behalf of her and us who were put in similar positions and any woman anywhere, it's a real shitty experience when you see the finished edited product that is in the world and you go, oh, you zoomed in on my tits?
yeah.
Like,
That's awful.
ew, I didn't agree to that.
Yeah.
Nobody even asked me.
That's the
And
thing.
so-
Just ask me. So, like, there are times when I might be okay with it. I don't know. It depends on the story. It depends on how the structure of everything's going.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that I'm saying no. It's just ask me. Don't just take it.
Yeah.
Just fucking
It's
take
gratuitous and it's creepy. And I don't know, y'all. All I'm going to say is now, more often than not on a set, you have playback. Ladies, ask to see it.
Yeah.
And gentlemen,
show me.
if you're uncomfortable, you ask to see it too.
Yeah,
it's a
that's
free for
right.
all in terms of consent. Everyone deserves it.
Yep. Oh, yeah, that was weird. Her coming on to Nathan.
Well, and that Nathan,
such a
like, she
weird
would
choice.
slowly lean in to kiss him. And Nathan, at this point, after she's already like released the time capsule and ruined his wedding and almost killed his uncle. He lets her kiss him on the cheek. I'm like, and what the fuck is he doing waiting in that room? Cooper's gone.
Why is he? He went to go get his wallet or leftovers or something.
But it's like he's standing there to tell her Cooper's gone. It's so weird and high school. And I'm sorry, I know this is dumb, but I will just never get over that they wrote a line for her to say, "You have Cooper's eyes," to James Lafferty, who has big blue eyes, and Michael Trucco's eyes are brown. Are they
No, they're
not?
not. They're blue. They're blue.
They
They're
are? Are you
crystal
sure?
blue. Yes, 100%.
Maybe I'm just seeing Daniil's eyes reflected in the scene, and in my rage, I'm reassigning them. But I'm like, who would say that anyway? It's just so dumb.
that's
The
just
whole
good.
thing is
I
so
actually-
dumb.
It didn't. For a minute there, I was like, why didn't he push her away? But then I thought about the times when I've been in positions where I just wasn't myself. Like my brain was somewhere else. I was feeling awkward, and I've had people like I've had someone hit on me, and I just don't have the wherewithal. I don't have it in me in that moment. I'm just kind of like, you just get frozen. And he's a 17-year-old boy.
Yeah.
And having this girl sort of like crawl on him, and she's vulnerable because she just had this horrible thing happen to him, and he's also got a kind heart. And it's like, if I push her away, also, is that going to compound, insult to injury for her in the bigger picture? I don't know. It didn't bother me so much. I could see why. I didn't think he was giving into it. I think he just felt paralyzed and frozen.
Yeah.
That's what I saw.
I will say, for a scene that I thought was so obviously stupid and terribly written, I did think James did a very good job.
Tell us what you really think.
I thought James did a very good job because he did look so uncomfortable and vulnerable. Like that look on his face was like, what is happening here?
It wasn't like I'm attracted to her.
Yeah.
And I wasn't getting that.
And no, but I'm just saying I thought it was a good choice on his part because listen, we talked about this when we were watching the episode. Sometimes you just got to commit, even if what's on the page is dumb. It's your job.
Yeah.
If the dialogue is bad, you're an actor. You have to do it. You have to say it.
Yeah.
So what I really respect is that I believe Daniil. The way she looked at him made me uncomfortable, and the way he reacted was uncomfortable. And those two, James and Daniil, really committed to the scene, regardless of what their opinions of it were. And they did the actor's work. Yeah. And so from the bird's eye view, we're all going, what was this? How ridiculous. But they really lent into the material. And like, there's also the flip side from the bird's eye view where I'm like, our friends are great. I'm so proud of you.
You did it. What that
You did it.
What it signaled to me, and what we're going to start seeing more and more of, our show eventually reached a place where we were getting made fun of on the soup, where there were storyline things that would fall through the cracks, and it started with little things like, why is Nathan hanging out in Cooper's room? Why is Rachel just allowed in Cooper's room all the time?
Yeah.
Like little piddly I mean, there was another one that made me crazy. Oh, how did Dan refurbish this crib all in one day? He's got like the Brooke Davis 5-hour energy drinks where he's like, I want to get it all done in one day.
By the way, he didn't even paint it. He sanded the whole thing down, stained the wood, and then painted the stars.
That's it, man.
Yeah, and then cobbled the whole thing together too, apparently.
He cobbled it. That's the perfect vocab word. But what it signals to me is that what was going on behind the scenes is we had a boss who was increasingly unable to hear like feedback, where certainly someone caught all of these things. Certainly someone must have been like, there's no way a writer's room of like 15, 20 people is like, hey, by the way, it's still day one and this feels weird. We were at the hospital at 10 o'clock at night to get pregnancy tests, you know? And so we're starting to see more and more of that disinterest in reality. So that's why when we start to move into like gun in the cafe, you know, psycho stalker from the internet, some of these like bigger, crazy storylines, it's because we had leadership that didn't care about reality anymore. It was like, who cares? The fans don't care, so we can do whatever we want.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's like now knowing we're going to be watching Rachel chase after Nathan for another, I don't know what, 5-6 episodes, that's going to start happening. And it just, again, it feels lazy and boring. And it would have been so interesting to watch Rachel's trajectory into getting worse instead of having it instantly happen. And now she's just like, I'm not going to grow. I'm not going to change from this. I'm just going to start chasing after boys again. I would love to have actually watched her. She proved herself as an actress, to be able to watch her go through a journey of trying to change, finding out it felt too hard for her, and then continually making the weaker choice every time.
Yeah.
That's interesting to watch.
Yeah. Well, and by the way, how cool would it have been if in the hospital, instead of immediately creeping on Nathan, she had been really vulnerable with Nathan and he had offered her some really kind advice? Because they're both kind of traumatized from what happened.
Yeah.
And he had just been friendly. And then in the next episode at school, she could have begun watching him in a way. Like it's the flip. It's the immediate, like, I'm zooming in on pictures of you in my phone and you're going to fix it. It's so like,
stupid.
Calm down. Just like,
it's so
slow
stupid.
Down a little bit.
Give her a minute.
But you're right.
So think about if that had happened. If Rachel had started to take it the wrong way and really felt like, wait a second, I'm actually falling in love with this boy, and started coming up with, and then you see the long journey that she's doing the same thing with him that she did with Cooper, making it up in her mind, creating this imaginary scenario where he really loves her back. That takes you somewhere, because then when that crashes and burns, it's so much harder to come back from that a second time. Then it's like, you know what, just I'm throwing everything out the window and I'm just going to go be a manipulative party girl or whatever label she would wanted to live under. But instead it was just that immediate switch, and we missed it. We got robbed. We keep getting robbed.
They teased it a little bit. There was that one visual after the crash where you see Nathan and Rachel in her little dress, all wet on the banks of the shore, and they're laying there together with his arm over her. And so the audience has had this like subliminal viewing of like, you know, their bodies close together, his arm around her. And if she had flashbacks of that, you know, like, he saved me. You know, that could have been interesting.
Right.
Instead,
transference. He's my hero. There was a great storyline to be had there.
Damn it.
And then she could have been the one saying to him, but you are a hero. You are a hero. And he's like, I don't think I am. And all the guys are saying, look, dude, it makes sense if you blacked out, but like you had to be the one who got us out of the car. You know, like it could have gone a little deeper instead of more of that like single white female energy, which Peyton hadn't in the last episode. And now Rachel has it in this episode. And you know who else has it in this episode? Brooke Davis. Because where did she get a printer to print out that creepy ass picture she took of Peyton and Lucas walking out of the mall on her birthday?
Yeah,
girl,
what the heck?
Did we have at-home printers in 2006?
I don't know.
Well, they had them in the trailer.
Oh, that's true. We printed out continuity pictures in the trailer.
Did we at that point?
Yeah, we had switched over, I think, from Polaroids. We were like we were the last, one of the last in the row for Polaroids.
But they were expensive.
I thought you had to be rich to have an at-home printer.
Well, Brooke.
Brooke's broke. What are you talking about?
Oh, that's right. Why is Brooke always
We're
in the wrong
Brooke,
place?
Brooke.
Oh, poor Brooke.
Always.
She always walks in exactly the wrong moment.
Yeah. And by the way, how often in a red dress? Season 1. After the wedding. On her birthday. I'm like, stop wearing red, girl. It's like an omen. It's a bad omen for you.
Have you guys ever had, like, what's the worst birthday you ever had?
Ooh, worst birthday. Okay, so listen, this is a terrible story. I briefly touched on this in my book, and Jeff was like, "You're going to tell that story?" And I was like, just a little bit. I won't go into detail, but I had the boyfriend I had when I first started One Tree Hill was like, whatever, he's fine, but not for me. And one year for my birthday, he gave me a watch, and I was like, a watch, huh? Like, I don't wear watches. And he was like, yeah, but like, I don't know. You've got all these weird hobbies, and I'm really hoping you grow out of most of them. So at least a watch, like, you can keep for a long time. And so to me, I always felt like that wasn't a gift that said, I support your interests. It was just like, okay, it's a watch. And so after I gave birth to Gus, you know, I'm like a couple months postpartum, Jeff showed up in the city. Like, he had like gotten to the city, and he definitely didn't plan anything beforehand. There was like no planning involved. And the day before my birthday, he's like, I can't hang out with you. I have to go buy your birthday present. And then his parents were flying out in the morning, and he really wanted us to open up presents before his parents flew out. And so it's like 9:00 in the morning, and I've got an infant, and like everybody wants me to open presents and like be all performative and shit. And I open up this present, it's a fucking watch. And I lost it. I lost it. And I was like,
no. Oh my gosh.
And he didn't know the backstory.
Of course not.
And he's just like, I bought you a nice thing. Why are you being psychotic? And so it was a whole fucking thing. And so now he's like, anytime I'm being high strung, he's like, do I need to go buy you a watch? No, but don't buy me a watch ever. I hate them.
Wow.
Yeah. What about you?
I don't like watches either.
Anyway, that's my long story.
Oh my God, I love watches.
I don't remember which birthday it was, but I definitely had a birthday that was like covered in rain, and I couldn't get where I needed to go, you know, missed the reservation. Like, and, you know, 4 of my friends couldn't show up, like out of 6. And so, you know, something happened the last minute, and they were all like, I hope you guys all have fun. But, you know, those, when when you throw a party and then like everybody thinks everybody else is going to be there. So they're like, oh, it's okay. I guess I can, oh, sorry. Anyway. And, and I just remember like, I think I was living in New York at the time, and just, you know, trying to get a cab back home, and, you know, trying to get a cab in New York City in the rain.
Yeah.
Like
super fun.
The hardest. So hard.
It's why God invented Uber.
Yeah. I just got back to the apartment and probably put on a movie and called it a night. But it was definitely one of those, like, this birthday did not go the way I wanted.
But then you take it as a bad omen. You're like, the whole year is going to be like this.
It's going to be awful. Nobody loves me.
Oh my goodness.
What was yours, Sophia?
I mean, I had a real bad birthday. I can't really share the story of on this podcast. Yep. But I think the top level would just be that I finally said to, you know, my bad boyfriend, we'll just use that terminology for all of us, right?
Yeah.
I was just like, don't come.
Don't come.
Don't be here. Don't. Yeah. I was like, don't.
Yeah.
Don't get on the plane. Don't come to see me here. I will call reinforcements if you show up. And then the birthday wound up being nice. You guys, I just can't get over that you hate watches. I love watches.
Listen, no, watches are fine.
No, I get it.
You bought yourself like a vintage Rolex when we were on One Tree Hill, and I was like, Sophia got a Rolex. That's crazy.
I sure did.
She's so cool.
I was like, this is my gift to myself. That's the thing. Oh, I don't know. There's something, but you know me. It's like, I'm just.
You like data.
I'm such like
you like numbers.
Yeah, I'm such like a professor trapped, like a cute man professor in a tweed jacket kind of professor. I'm like that guy trapped in my body. So like, I just want all the blazers with the elbow patches and all the like big old men's watches. Yeah. Like,
I don't think I've ever had a nice watch. Maybe that's why I don't really like that, because I'm always like, they're like kind of not the big thick ones. I have had one that was big and thick, but then it stopped working. That's my problem with watches. They stop working, and then you have to replace the battery. But it's the same thing with me in the post office. Like, I'm never going to replace that battery. The watch is going to sit on the shelf.
You know what I'd prefer? Let's just get cuff bracelets. Same energy, same weight, but I don't have to look at numbers. I don't like...
You love a cuff.
I don't like something on me that makes me feel guilty for not being where I'm supposed to be. Maybe that's... I look at a clock and I think guilt.
Pressure.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Well, yeah, because that's what your bad boyfriend assigned to that watch for you. He guilt tripped you with that watch. How rude.
My hobbies are cool.
rude.
God damn it.
How rude.
Listen, I as an actor, as a viewer, as a Peyton enthusiast, really liked how hard Peyton was working for Brooke on this episode.
Me too.
Me too.
And for herself, trying to find Derek. Like, Peyton was eager in this episode. I liked it.
And you know what? Those scenes between the Peyton and Lucas scenes in the Comet, like between you two sitting out in front of the mall and then back in the car after you went into the mall, like, it is so sweet. And you see the friendship and the lightness and the silliness and the chemistry. And it really does, at least as a viewer for me, like, because I wasn't there. Like, I don't remember those scenes.
Yeah.
I didn't film them. Watching it, I go, yeah, that's what was brewing even in the first season as those two became friends. And then obviously it's a teen drama. There has to be drama and conflict.
Yeah.
So other people get in the way. But you come back to something that feels really like, I don't want to be cheesy and say pure, but kind of, you know what I mean? Like, it's a little sparkly. And it's really fun to watch.
I remember shooting those scenes with Chad. And, it's all night work. So that was probably 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why we were so giggly, because you get punchy at that time. But I remember the feeling of, oh my God, this might be something. Like the scenes between Peyton and Lucas. Because I'd never really gotten it before. Like, it was always just like broody kids being broody. Right? And I'm like, this is like a misery tar pit.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like legitimately laughing in the car with Chad while we were shooting those scenes, being like, well, this feels different. Like, I was just clocking a different energy, and we legitimately had a nice time together in that car, because it was kids being kids. Just like, what's your favorite color? Anyway, what's your favorite, cereal? Okay. Like, it's just like kid shit. It's trivia. It's fun.
Well, and maybe that's part of why it also feels so fun to watch, because there was a lot going on around you two in this episode that was intense or that did feel a little not grounded in reality. So then you get in the car and you're like, tell me a story. And you're just laughing and sharing and bonding. Yeah, it feels real.
It's not a huge semi truck driving by that says murderer.
Boy, he's really coming unraveled. And it's so annoying that he won't leave Karen alone.
Yeah. It is so strange.
Yeah, why doesn't why doesn't Dan have the stalker wall? Like, of all of us to have like the weird photo stalker images, it would be Dan, not us girls.
100%.
Totally. Maybe he'll start one soon.
Going through his old yearbook. I miss you, Karen. Yeah. Look at us, Karen. Weren't we adorable, Karen? Oh my God.
Going to Kinko's and Xeroxing all the photos.
Kinko's.
Hey, did you guys notice the appearance, like the sudden appearance of the giant red chair in Nathan Haley's apartment?
I listen, I didn't want to bring it up.
It's from the London episode.
The set dressing in Nathan and Haley's apartment is so jarring.
It's so awful. But it's from the last episode. Remember, you guys come back and you say, what is this?
Redecorated.
And there's a giant red chair under that.
All I saw was the bubble
canvas. It's under a canvas of those London what are they called?
Murals.
The London telephone booths. And it's like a mural of a bunch of them in a row, and there's a red chair, and the whole apartment is navy blue with the London Bridge thing, and then that
you've
stupid
taken a lot
bubble
of
wall.
details in one short
Girl, she's
moment.
already made a Pinterest board based on it. She's like,
Lord.
Decor.
Because when you guys walked in and he was like, yeah, well, we spent all our money on the wedding and now all this new furniture. I was like, who did this?
Yeah.
Like, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. This is crazy to think that a teenager did this. But it's just overkill.
Also, it was like Friends style furniture. It's all like big and modern and like weird shaped.
It looks like the Central Perk.
Girl, it's Pee-wee's Playhouse. It's like, why is that chair so big?
And this giant red painting, I don't even know what that was on the wall. It was like somebody said, we need more red in this room. So they threw a complimentary color up on the wall. Strange. It's very strange. The cabinets, everything. It all looked weird.
Very strange.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
did mess with
I'm glad I'm not the
cabinets.
only one who noticed.
No, I wasn't into
No.
it. But the scene that you guys had in the apartment, I did love because Nathan's whole speech where he's like, I'm the kid. Should my mother have a gun? No.
Yes.
Am I gonna let it f my life up? No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the
Yeah.
kid is something that I have said as an adult to
Yeah.
people in my family. And that,
Yep.
and I like surprised myself saying it. And I thought I was the only immature person on the planet that had said stuff like that. And so to hear a teenager on TV say it, I was like, yeah. I love this.
I love
and-
it.
And what I loved too is that he was so just frank about it. I'm the kid. My dad's got a restraining order. My mom's got a Glock. Enough.
Mhm.
And then that moment where you two are really bonding over how this is so inappropriate and you're just supposed to be able to be the kids. And then he says, I'm not going to let anything get in the way of my dreams. I'm going to play basketball. And we know what how Haley takes that. You have that moment where you take a breath. And
Oh my
that
God,
can't be
I
the
didn't
moment
even
you
think
tell him,
about that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm
He's
the
like, I'm a
kid.
kid.
Oh, man.
It hits.
Multi-layered.
Yeah, wait, I feel like I have to go back and watch it now.
It's amazing to me how the writing can sometimes nail it so hard and be so good and right on. And then sometimes it's so far off. It's wild.
Yeah.
Especially in an episode like this because it seesaws back and forth
Yeah.
so aggressively, it like gives you whiplash. You're like, how can this show be so good and so embarrassing?
Yeah.
Like, what's happening?
Yeah. Well, you also had
It is
another really
wild.
good moment when you came and you found him on the bridge where he's just been like taking naps, I guess. And you're like, you have to let me in. We'll do this together. And Nathan says something like, I'm not quite ready to let you in yet. I'm still like figuring this out. Did you write that line down,
Yeah.
Sophia?
I did. He says, I don't understand it enough to let you in yet.
Yeah.
Oh,
I felt that.
I did too. And because we've all been there, right? When you're trying to figure out why something is affecting you the way that it is, and you don't have the words yet.
Yeah.
And it's such a beautiful thing for him to say,
Yeah.
rather than to be like, stop, leave me alone, to freak out, to just say, yes, you're right. I am going through something, but I don't know how to tell you about it yet. I don't have the words for this yet.
Yeah.
It's such a gift to give to the person who loves you, that sees that you're having a hard time. Yeah, I loved it. I really, really loved it. And then we went from that moment to Brooke putting her creepy little stalker photo of Peyton and Lucas in her photo album. And I was like, here we go. We're back on the seesaw. I'm uncomfortable.
What I will say about that seesaw is this scene gave us the Posh Spice mug.
Yeah.
With the little message we got to see on the bottom at the end of the episode that's like, it says, to my posh best friend, love Peyton. And it feels really like nice and full circle that now we have kids that have like mugs and t-shirts and like little pictures with their friends that are like, you're the Brooke to my Peyton.
I know.
You're the Posh to my Scary Spice. I was always Scary Spice in my group of girlfriends. Like that was the one that I was like, dibs on Scary. I like her.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love that so much. Oh my God. I don't know why that just reminded me. Something about like picturing those girls it gave me such a flashback when you were asking about birthdays. So I was like, I can't really tell you the story of my worst birthday because it's not.
But this
it's
is
not
the
fit to
second
be,
worst.
It's not fit to be print. But no, the weirdest birthday I've ever had, my 25th birthday, my friends took me to Vegas, and Joy, that's the birthday. There's a photo of me and one of my best friends, and I'm in a little black dress. It's like a very Posh Spice dress. And it's that birthday party that fans, or perhaps Fans with No Boundaries, whatever they're called, have photoshopped all the photos with us into them. So there are photos of you and me, and it looks like I'm kissing you on the cheek. They photoshopped a bunch of pictures of me and James. They photoshopped this picture of Lee
that's
Norris
the
and
one?
I. Yes. And there's like all these pictures floating around, but you, James, and Lee were not there. I was like on a trip with my college best friends in Vegas. But they've created all these pictures,
so
and I feel
funny.
sort of bad about it because fans are like, oh, I love these pictures of them. And I'm like, those aren't real, and I'm uncomfortable.
No. Listen, I thought they were real. I was like, where were they that they were kissing? Where was everybody that I missed out?
You're like, where was that party that Sophia bit Joy's face? I didn't. It wasn't her. It was a joke. It was like an old running joke from childhood. And I'm just like, do we tell people these are fake? Maybe we just let them believe the fantasy. It's okay. It's so weird.
I love it.
And also, I'm like, there are few people I have as many photos with as you guys.
Yeah. So why are they photoshopping like anything?
There are so many Photoshops. I've seen over the years, so many people have sent me photos of even friends of mine who were like, asking me about a hair color or something. And they're like, they said they screen grabbed something from their phone. And I'm like, this photo is completely fabricated. First of all, that's not my body at all.
Yeah.
And I never was like, I was never in that place with this person. There's so many of James and I that look really personal and connected, and they're totally photoshopped. I'm just like,
I have a couple of those.
It's not real.
Sorry,
Dude.
guys.
Weirdly, I have some of those. I have some of those with him. I have some of those with Lee. And the thing that makes me the most uncomfortable, one of my best guy friends who, for clarification of like why we take ridiculous photos with each other, is gay. There's a photo of us from a party, and we were like sending it to a friend as a gag. And I like, we took a photo and I'm like licking the side of his face. I'm not like actually licking his face. I just stuck my
we
tongue out
wouldn't
at the
judge
moment.
you if you were.
Sure, but like there's like
eating and
there's
licking
posing.
faces.
I'm like, there's just like
Hilarious.
posing for a photo that's funny, and then there's the full action, which feels a little like werewolfy that I don't know if I'm down with. Somebody, and this makes me so creeped, somebody photoshopped Jensen into that photo. So it looks like I'm licking Daniil's husband's face.
Oh, that's
And I'm just like,
uncomfortable.
I would like to call a timeout here.
Yeah.
Like, there has to be a world in which there's a little bit of a boundary and people stop doing this.
Yeah, husbands are off
'Cause
limits.
No way, babe.
I also just think, like, I don't know, maybe I'm a little prude, but I think manipulated photos in general should be off limits. Like, we didn't consent to that.
Listen, guys,
I
have
don't like
posted.
it.
I have posted a manipulated photo for Chad's birthday one year. I had been to a party with Chad, and so assumed that this picture that I posted was real. No, I had been with some reality TV star, and it never occurred to me that that picture had been altered. I'd been sitting at a table with this like reality TV kid. And, like I was hanging out with my buddies. I didn't even, but like some magazine came along and took a picture. And then over the years, someone manipulated it. And I remember Chad and I were both at this party, so I just assumed the picture was real. And then one day I saw the real picture, and I was like, wait a second, this is weird. I took this picture with Chad. No, I didn't.
Oh my God.
I got
That's so
duped.
funny.
I got duped by myself.
Oh my God. Well,
Whatever.
I love it.
I don't care.
Well, speaking of Sophia being a werewolf,
uh-huh.
Oh.
okay, we have a fan question. Let's move to a fan question here from Zib. Would you rather be cast as witches or vampires in a supernatural movie?
Come on.
Witches.
Come on.
I'm vampire all the way. Are you kidding? Interview with a Vampire is like forever my obsession.
And you were really good at throwing up blood on Sophia's show. On Good Sam, you had to do that spit take with like all the bloody
God.
vomit, and you nailed that.
I did not
kidding me?
like
if
that.
I get to dress up in like 18th century, 19th century ruffles and things, and then put vampire teeth in and just like bite on some handsome boys.
You know,
come on.
Our favorite costumer from One Tree Hill, Carol Cutshaw, is the designer of Interview with the Vampire. She's designing all of those costumes.
Wait, designing? What do you mean? Is there a remake?
Yes, Interview with the Vampire is on AMC. The series. What? Oh, yeah. And it's like, critics love it.
What are you saying to me right now? I did not know this.
Your weekend is planned, Joy. You have things. You have something to do right now. Carol is killing it. Her Instagram page where she's showing
so
all her
good.
inspiration videos.
Oh, I got to go look at this now.
Yeah. Carol Cutshaw is a beast. But yeah, Sophia and I, we're witches all day. But that also,
Oh my God. I mean, when we heard they were doing another Practical Magic, we were like, can we be in it?
Hi.
And they were like, it's a prequel, guys. The kids are like 14. And we were like, oh, okay. All right.
Fine.
Never mind.
Don't they have mothers?
Don't they have moms?
Yeah.
We could be witchy moms.
Like,
I'm into
all
it.
day.
Well,
can I tell you that
it's
Gus
really
is
funny-
learning the Salem witch trials right now in 7th grade history class, and I am chomping at the bit to get into the classroom because they're doing a mock trial, and I was like, oh, hello. Do you need any acting advice from a real witch?
I would love to come and talk to you about it. Well,
And your little dog, too.
Yep.
oh my God. I like it. I also like Samantha's question. Do you want to kiss, marry, or slap Uncle Cooper, Jake, or Skills? I'm like, apparently it should be like, kiss, marry, or bite.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to slap any of them.
Unless it was a sexy slap. Who would get
Unless it was like a Deb and Skills kind of a slap scene.
Like, how dare you
Interesting.
do it again?
I mean, here's the thing. Brooke should have married Uncle Cooper.
Yeah. For me,
From there,
Uncle
I'm up in the
Cooper
air.
is a marry and Jake and Skills are a kiss. I don't know. I wouldn't slap any of them. I guess
I don't
given
wanna
the right
slap
circumstances. I can't see anybody needing to slap Jake for any reason because he's just a puppy dog. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess Skills could get fresh sometimes. Maybe.
I mean, I like the sage wisdom of Skills. I could be down with marrying that guy. And Peyton would totally make out with Cooper. And I could see her slapping Jake just as like just fucking be cool, man. Like, why do you torture me so hard? I came down here. I took a plane ticket from Pete Wentz. Like, couldn't we just kiss all weekend? And have all these big talks? God.
That
No,
feels
Heidi.
fair. I like that.
Hi. That's it. I love that fan question. Do we want to spin a wheel? I have to go pick up my
I
son.
think we should.
Yeah, let's spin it.
I love it. We get a little most likely to.
Start decorating for Christmas November 1st.
Whew. I mean, not
Feels like
it.
maybe a Haley thing.
All of us are like, no.
Is it a Haley thing?
Yeah.
It's probably Haley. Maybe Karen for the cafe.
Like who's hyper?
Bevan?
No, I feel like Haley's too chill for it. I think it's like an Erica Marsh thing.
Yeah.
Bevan, Erica Marsh.
Hyper
Yeah.
chick thing. Or maybe like of the boys.
Brooke. Wouldn't Brooke?
Brooke's Jewish.
I don't know.
Yeah, right?
I don't know. Like, because, I come from a blended family, so we do both holidays. And I'm kind of like, I got to wait till after Thanksgiving. And then I
Me
put up
too.
like a little something for this side and a little something for this side. And things got easier once I got like a Christmas tree that lives in a box.
That's my
Like I
tree
can just
in a
kind
box.
of pop it out. We got a Christmas tree over here and a menorah over here, and everybody gets a holiday.
Yeah. I don't know that it's any of our core 5 on the show. I think it's definitely like a sneak attack. It's like a junk.
Yeah.
Or one of like the boys.
I think Erica Marsh is a great instinct as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in
Yeah,
real
like those
life,
people who are
in real life,
achievers.
it's Buckley. Buckley is psycho for Christmas, you guys.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, it's him.
Okay. All right, good. So Erica Marsh and Robert Buckley.
He literally wrote an entire ass Hallmark movie about his family's decorating for Christmas. Like people would drive
That's
to their
right.
house to go see their decorations.
Amazing.
That's
wow.
it. I love it. What's
All right,
next
well,
week?
that's it. Well, hey, next week we have season 4, episode 3. Good news for people who love bad news.
Oh dear. Oh dear. What does
It's
it
gonna be fun.
mean?
It's gonna be fun. We're gonna find our way through it, guys. We can't wait to watch with you. Thanks for joining. Hey, thanks for listening.
Don't forget to leave us a review. You can also follow us on Instagram at DramaQueensOTH.
Or email us at dramaqueens@iheartradio.com. See you next time.
We're all about that high school drama girl, all about them them high school queens. We'll take you for a ride in our comic girl, cheering for the right team. Drama queens, smart girl, rough girl, fashion but you're tough girl. You could sit with us, girl. Drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens.